Hey guys, my name is KJLS, and with the Pixel 6a coming out next month, I decided to put my main SIM in the Pixel 5a for the last week and a half and revisit the budget king of 2021. Now, it was released around the same time the Pixel 6a is expected to come out, and it improved on two things, and that is the price, which was $449 when it was released, and of course, the battery life. While the Pixel 5 was a great mid-range phone, it suffered just a little bit when it came to the battery life. And with the release of the 5a, this came with a 4,680 million pounds of battery. A significant bigger battery, and almost a year later, the battery is still very solid. I'm currently getting a full day of battery life with 6 to 7 hours of screen on time. Now, however, I do feel with the mid-range chipset and 60Hz screen, I should be getting more, but maybe I'm asking just a bit too much. Now, speaking of that 60Hz screen, the display is a 6.34 OLED panel with symmetrical bezels on all sides of the phone. Now, the display is not so bad, especially for that budget price it comes in. However, looking at the dark space or setting apps with a dark background, you tend to see colored lines from top to bottom, as well as an uneven black color tone from the right side of the display to the left side. Now, it's not there all the time, but it's a little distracting and shows the quality of the display. Now, for what it's worth, the tall screen does come in handy when watching videos. The single camera cutout on the left side is placed pretty well. I don't think I've noticed it one bit, and it sort of just blends into the display, which is pretty nice. One of the few things I dislike about the Pixel 5a, after being with it for almost a year, is the build quality and material used with the phone. The 5a has an aluminum frame and back with Gorilla Glass on the front. While this helps a lot of scratches, it does leave a lot of smudges on the back, so I constantly have to keep cleaning my phone almost every minute, and it's just really annoying. Now, it might sound very nitpicky, but it does get very frustrating. Unfortunately, I never got a case on mine, which is very not on brand, so there's a lot of shirt rubbing all the time just to get those smudges away. But overall, the design is very reminiscent of the Pixel 4 and the Pixel 5. Now, almost a carbon copy, and that's okay if I'm being honest. Now, at the top, we have the headphone jack that is a rarity in this day, and I predict in 3 to 4 decades or so, phones with a headphone jack will become a collector's item. Let's see what happens. Anyway, at the bottom, you have stereo speakers that aren't really good, especially when compared with the new smartphones that are coming out in 2022. I did notice though that the louder it got, the less bass you will hear. Next to the speakers are the USB-C ports that has fast charging. Now, we have a square camera bump that is housing dual cameras. Now, more on those cameras later. Right next to it, we have the very famous Fingerprint Reader. It took me a while to get used to it all over again because half the time I have been using the Pixel 6 and the S22 that I keep pressing my screen just to unlock my phone. But either way, this scanner at the back is great, it's very responsive, and I think more responsive than anything the Pixel series has right now, to be honest. It works with your 4 fingers or even half your finger. It unlocks in half a second and just goes to show how optimized Android 12 is on the Pixel 5a. And speaking of which, software experience on the 5a is a mixed bag, to be honest. While Material U is great, the Snapdragon 765 is very average or even below par after 1 year with the 5a. There are a lot of lags, a lot of stuttering, and when using Android Auto, it just stops Google Maps and stops my music from the car and starts playing on my phone. So which is a big inconvenience because I am driving at the same time and using my maps, so it's very annoying and honestly very dangerous. So far, the performance has dipped quite a bit. There are a ton of app crashes within the phone, which hinders the experience a whole lot. Multitasking is a myth because once you go away from an app and go back to it a few seconds later, it restarts. Now, as much as I gave the Pixel 5a a good comment about the performance when it was released a year ago, now I don't think I can say the same thing. Now, moving away from the bad stuff, Material U is still good. It's still my best skin on Android. Now, my wallpaper is colorful and my widgets add to my viewing experience. And of course, that just makes me want to stare at my screen a whole lot of the time. The way the Pixel 5a takes a major hit is how it processes its pictures. Now, first of all, the camera on the Pixel 5a is still great. It takes a lot of great shots, but at the same time, it takes 2 to 5 seconds to process each shot depending on the sunlight that is around you. It does get annoying, especially if you're capturing a lot of pictures, so it's kind of a hindrance. However, the pictures I took over the weekend in Toronto caught me by surprise. Spec-wise, it is a 12 megapixel wide-angle lens and a 16 megapixel ultra-wide lens. The sensor here is a lot smaller than the Pixel 6, and with a few shots, I could tell the difference right away. Now, regardless, they were great, especially during the day. There was a nice balance of saturation and exposure with each picture I took, and it did not look artificial at all. It it was honestly an enjoyable experience. The ultrawide 2 is a nice addition to have to the camera line. It allowed for more dramatic pictures. Now, even though I did not use it a lot, it did come in handy with the last couple of weeks. Now, with the lack of a dedicated telephoto lens, the Pixel relies on its default camera that is digitally zoomed in, and as you can see, it does struggle a bit, especially with clarity and sharpness. The selfie camera is not exactly the best. There's still a lot of struggle with evening my skin tone, as well as not looking good during nighttime shots. If you're into a lot of selfie portraits, then the Pixel 5a is not the phone for you. Video 2 is pretty decent, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend this as a default video camera, especially if you're getting into content creating, as this overheats a whole lot if you're shooting in 4K at 60 frames per second. So that will stop you from using your camera, as well as killing your battery life a lot faster. With all that being said, should you buy the Pixel 5a in 2022? And the answer is no, you shouldn't buy the Pixel 5a for 2 reasons. One, on Amazon right now, it is currently $495 USD. I'm not exactly sure why there's a price increase on this phone, but it doesn't make sense to buy this at that price. And number 2, the Pixel 6a comes out next month and it has a new design, new specs, new cameras, a better display, and of course, the Google Tensor chip that has and will give a better performance than the 5a. But what do you guys think? Is the Pixel 5a worth buying at all? Comment below and let me know. And guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel, as I am so close, so close to 5,000 subscribers, and I would love to get there this month and smash my half-year goal and, a good birthday present. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. My name is KJOS, and I will catch you guys in the next one where I talk all things tech.